One of Britain's most prestigious schools is considering banning homework to combat teen depression. The Cheltenham Ladies College wants to abolish after-school assignments to combat what they deem as an epidemic of anxiety. Now, the head teacher, Eve Jardine Young, said the average age at which depression was first diagnosed had fallen from 29 in the 1960s to 15 and a half early this century. So I looked into it, and there's an estimated 10% of teens who suffer from depression in Britain. Now, the school is examining university-style flip learning, where pupils read up on material before classes as an alternative to homework in 2 or 3 subjects. But that's not all they're doing to help combat depression. They will also be providing students with weekly meditation classes, as well as twice as long to walk between their classes.
Also mixed on this story today. So, first of all, my initial gut reaction to canceling homework is, get the fuck out of here. Okay, these kids are like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Yeah, dude, we were all stressed out. Welcome to life, okay? Go do your homework. Now, when we get into the details, though, there is some nuance here.
Right.
First of all, if you want to increase the walking time between classes so kids are not constantly stressed out,
yeah,
great, no problem. You know, take a load off, everybody calm down, you don't have to panic everybody. And yeah, if they want to talk to their friends for an extra 2 minutes while walking between classes and that reduces stress, great, I'm in, okay?
Right.
The meditation, I'm theoretically in favor of meditation. I can't get myself to do it because my head is too jumbled and I'm like, thinking 100 different things. Having the kids do it, yeah, why not? I mean, my old school reaction is it feels goofy, right? But that reaction is wrong.
Right.
Okay? So you want to encourage, not mandate, but encourage the kids to meditate. Bless your heart.
Right.
But I don't know. You can't cancel homework. What are we doing? That's crazy.
I mean, the thing is if they're requiring them to read before class anyway, so that they could, like, you know, essentially could come prepared and ask questions regarding the material and not just kind of sit, you know, blank-faced at a lecture, it's still sort of homework if you have to read before a class.
Yeah, they're not really canceling homework in that
sense. Right, they're not filling out a problem set and stressing about getting graded on some assignment, but they are reading before and hopefully kind of being, it's almost forcing them to be more self-sufficient, to come up with more like critical thinking questions.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I just came to a conclusion. The jury's in. I am now absolutely convinced. This is bullshit. Okay, no, not buying it. And I'll tell you why, because look, you made a point about reading, and I was like, yeah, but what about other classes? Now, you got to do math problems. You can't be like, oh, I read my trigonometry chapter. That isn't going to do it. You got to do the problems.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to really learn it. So don't give me this like touchy-feely, oh, I'm depressed. Now, okay, on the other hand, I get that there is real depression. And by the way, I get that we're stressing our kids out ridiculously. So don't get me wrong, I'm not against those folks. Like, it's not like depression didn't exist before, like the 10% number. I'm sure that was the case in the 1960s. They just didn't report it early enough. Nobody bothered to ask the kids.
They didn't talk about it as much.
Right. It was like, oh, who gives a shit what the kids think? I'm not in that camp. I care. I don't want my kids depressed.
Right.
And we're putting so much pressure on them. So don't think that I don't recognize that. I do, okay? But having said that, you've got to do a bare minimum of work to learn the stuff. So I would ask, where we are today is at a 12, and we need to bring it back down to like a bearable 8, right? But this is asking us to bring it back to a 2, where we're like happy-feely, and how did you feel about the
assignment,
geometry assignment? I don't know. It doesn't matter how you felt. Do you know it or you don't know it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you made a great point. We're at a 12, so we have this excessive amount of homework where kids, you know, don't have time to go outside. They don't have time to be with their friends. They're stressing about grades. So that's the problem that I think that we're facing here, is that we're having all of these confounding factors that are causing the depression. I don't think it's necessarily the homework. I think it's the amount of homework and the stress that's intrinsic with having that homework and expecting those grades, especially at a prep school. I mean, you're just told, you know, oh, you got to get to college, you got to get A's. So yeah, kids are going to go crazy.
Yeah, and look, a lot of kids are going crazy that I know. I mean, the competition is unbelievable. Right. I mean, back when I was going to school, I'm from the old school, right? I mean, I snuck into my college, and I did it with grades now that I'm embarrassed to say, because people are like, no, how the fuck did you get in there? Did your dad give him a building or something? He didn't. just wasn't as hard back then,
Right.
right? Like the guys who brag about being Princeton class of 1948 or something. Like, dude, man, you just knew somebody. Your dad was somebody. Back
Right.
then it wasn't like now. You got to be a stone cold killer. You could have perfect SAT scores, a 4.2 GPA, and still not get into any of the Ivies.
Right.
That's mental. It's too much pressure, right? And I remember, look, I had a lot of homework, and so it wasn't light.
Right.
I'm a dork, right? I took all the honors classes, yada yada, right? But I still had plenty of time to go play kickball with Dope, and and get everybody together and have them play basketball at the local school, and we had fun, man. We were kids.
Yeah, I think the difference is now is because you're expected to be, like, you were well-rounded just kind of naturally, but now you have to have all of these different clubs on top of taking all of these different APs. So doing those activities, like doing a sport after school or being in a club or doing community service, almost seems like a chore, like another aspect of doing
Totally.
homework, because you have to have all of that on your resume to just be even considered for some of the colleges.
And I know some of your parents still love the intramural sports that you're bringing your kids to, especially in the beginning. Like, oh, so cute. Did you see them kick the ball? But for a lot of the parents, I know it. You're sick of it. Like, oh, I gotta bring them to lacrosse practice and the soccer practice, and he's on the travel team for soccer. So there goes every Saturday for 10 weeks. And then I gotta bring him to music class, and then they gotta do all the homework. And then at that point, maybe they get into UCLA, right? So that exists. I get that, and obviously it exists in the UK as well. So let's bring that down a little bit, but be reasonable. Don't go to the other extreme.
Right. So you made your decision, but we did a poll on the TYT app asking you guys to reduce students' anxiety. One UK school is eliminating homework. Do you think homework should be abolished for elementary students? The votes were 61% yes with 233 votes and 39% no with 148 votes. So we do these polls on our app. So if you guys want to be on the conversation, you should definitely tune into our app and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you participating. You happen to be wrong in this case, saying that we should eliminate homework, 61% saying that. But nice try anyway. The official ruling, I don't know if you heard the gavel earlier. No, back to homework. Get to work. Get to work.